Yerkin Shazun, Kamsam Chugi, Jaro, Station, and Yaji, Dala, Garden, Sangi, Lila Malu, Rovi, Tangi, and Zome, Don Hu to Gunajagi, Banmo, Sukan, Jahu, Rana, Tangi, Hambala, Diva, Jani, Daja, Station Yaji, Yermitan Jaya, Trebi, Okarajan, Shambhala Realm, Continue, Antara. Changing Dola, Zodan, Nibi, Panso, Sarzan, Yankee, Ridan, Sapi, Position, Tata, Danya, Kandi, and the soul. So today is the full moon, 15th of Nakpa Dawa, which means the Buddha taught the Kalachakra in this day. So this is a very special day. So I would like to celebrate my book today, which means I wrote Shambhala book a few years ago in English, but very hard to translate. So all the translations didn't success. So this time, some reason I have to stay like retreat. So I took that opportunity to write in Tibetan the Shambhala book. So today I'm going to talk about what is Shambhala. I taught this many times in the past, but today maybe I'm talking a little bit different focus and different angle. So that means today is, the topic is, what is Shambhala Pure Land different than other Pure Lands? And to understand this, we have to understand what does a Pure Land means in general, and also how many categories of them, what is differently they are from the causes and conditions, how produce that Pure Lands, and then what is the function differently. So we have to know that first. So therefore I would like to talk first what does the Pure Land means simply. So simply means, Pure Land means it's not entirely the whole realm produced from dirty karma. Basically, if it is not a Pure Land, it's just realm, impure realm, then must produced from dirty karma of sentient beings. Okay? That means this world, this planet, another samsaric planet, they are not produced by Buddha's mind, not produced by Buddha's Bodhisattva's mind. It is purely sentient beings, dirty karma, sharing dirty karma together made this world. So Pure Land means something not like that, then is a Pure Land. However, Pure Land is not one, there is many levels. So without understanding the many levels, then people confuse. Without knowing all the Pure Lands, different levels, just thinking in one Pure Land, and then people confuse, because the reality is not one top, not one level. So therefore, we're going to talk about the levels or categories. In the board view, you can make only two categories. One is Buddha's Pure Land, and one is Bodhisattva's Pure Land. Why? Because Arahats and Bhattiyakas, Sharavakas, Arahats, they don't have Pure Land. Okay? Why? Because their goal is not to liberate all sentient beings. So if you not have the goal to liberate sentient being, you don't need to create a Pure Land. Okay? You may think, oh, then where they are be? So you don't need to worry about that. So different level, which means you don't need to create something where you stay, where you emigrate. You don't need to do that. Okay? And then, let's say, within the Buddha Pure Lands, how many types of Pure Land? You can categorize only two. First, the root category is only two. So that means Dharmakaya Pure Land and Rupakaya Pure Land. Which means Dharmakaya Pure Land is not really lined. Not lined what we think. Not realm what we think. It's not realm something you produce or not something you created. It is the absolute Buddha nature. You just can call Pure Land, Dharmakaya Pure Land. Because you can call anything the Dharmakaya level, the absolute Tathagata Buddha nature level is everything, so that's why you can call anything. That's the only reason we can say the Dharmakaya Pure Land. It is not created. It is naturally, eternally ever there. Okay? So that is a real Buddha Pure Land if you can think only for Buddha, only for Buddha, only for Buddha level. We're not talking about Buddha means one Buddha. We're talking about any possibility of Buddha. That level is that pure Land. Only that, nothing else. So not confused. Anything else, any other Pure Lands is meant to be produced for others. Others means other than Buddha himself. Other than Buddha himself. So therefore, we can make two names. The first one, you can say the Buddha Pure Land of on Buddha's perception. The other perception, who experience not Buddha himself, but the other sentient beings to experience, is not real Buddha realm. Why not real Buddha realm? Because Buddha produced for others. Buddha produced for others. Why not Buddha realm himself? Because it's not the absolute truth. You make something for others. So that includes a Shambhala realm, Shambhala pure realm. Even if the Shambhala pure realm is not the absolute pure realm. Why? Because only for sentient beings. So only for sentient beings means not normal sentient beings. Only for 10th Burmese level of Bodhisattvas. Only for them. Why only for them? Because they have too high level of pure realm, so others cannot experience. Any other sentient being cannot experience. Okay, you mean that means even 10th Burmese level of Bodhisattvas, here we categorize as sentient being. Okay, different sentient being, but still we categorize sentient being because not Buddha. If we only make two categories, the Buddha and sentient being, then even 10th level of Bodhisattva we categorize as sentient being. Even not, they are not under control of karma. Absolutely not, but still count as sentient being because of not Buddha. Their realm also not absolutely Buddha themselves realm. Okay? It's because not their Buddha's perception. It's not Buddha himself's perception. Okay, is that means Buddha cannot experience the Shambhala pure realm? If you have that question, the answer is Buddha knowing without his own experience. So that means we cannot give very good example, exact example, but just a little bit similar if we give example. If you see dog or cats, lots or some object mistaken some animal and chasing them, you can see it, but it's not your own experience as animal and chasing. You know it is not animal, you know it is not real, but also the cat or dog think is real. And you know all of them, but it's not your experience, it's not the truth. So similar that way, it's not exactly the same. We can't find perfect example, but that gives you a little bit direction. So it's not Buddha is his own perception. That's why not Buddha his own pure land. But still, sometimes we call Buddha pure realm because there is no other way to communicate. Okay? So you have to understand, even communication that way we do, but if you thinking deeply, it's not Buddha's pure realm. Okay? That's not other rest of sentient beings pure realm because too high. It's not Buddha's pure realm because too low. It's not Buddha himself. It's not absolute truth. It's still relative truth. So that's why. Okay. If there is similarity of absolute truth, sure, of course, but not still not absolute truth. That's why. Okay, now, then Nirmanakaya pure realm. So that means come one level, come down more. That's also Buddha's pure realm. For instance, usually we talk about Akshobhya pure realm, Amitabha pure realm, all these 5 Buddha families pure realms, these things we talk about usually. Thus, it is not all 5 Buddha family pure realms always have to be Nirmanakaya pure realm. It's not that means, but usually we talk about, usually we hear about, that one we talking about the Nirmanakaya pure realm. We're not talking about the Sambhogakaya pure realm much, okay? So that's why usually we hear Amitabha pure realm is the most we hear. That is Buddha Amitabha's Nirmanakaya pure realm. So, okay, is that one? Do we call Buddha Amitabha's pure realm? Yes, we call that. Okay, we call that. But if you think very deeply, is that Buddha Amitabha's pure realm? Is Buddha Amitabha himself the experience and the truth? Is not. Okay, why? Because this pure realm, Buddha Amitabha made for sentient beings, not for himself. Okay? Is that means Amitabha is not there in that realm? No. Of course Amitabha is there. We can experience. Whoever reborns Amitabha pure realm, what they experience level of Amitabha, of course there. But that doesn't mean the absolute Amitabha there, okay? But the manifestation, Nirmanakaya Amitabha there, yes, okay? So, why you say this is not Amitabha's pure realm? Because the only reason, because we're thinking about the true truth, absolute truth level. If you think this is not Amitabha himself's experiential pure land. As I example before I give, anybody can mistake children or animal, or we know they are mistaken, but still makes sense for them, makes difference for them, make happy, unhappy, everything makes a difference for them. Just like even a dream, doesn't matter, even it's not real, still makes the differences, the good dream and bad dream, same thing. So it make differences for sentient beings and make many benefit for sentient beings. That's why it is, we know him as Buddha Amitabha's pure realm. Why Buddha Amitabha pure realm? Because Buddha Amitabha, he created that from his accumulation from eons, according to his motivation and according to his vows and promise. So therefore, is Amitabha pure realm. So therefore, we can say Amitabha pure realm, but if you think it's Buddha himself's experiential, is truth for himself, then it's no. Okay, then we have to know. Therefore, we say this is perception for others, experience for others, pure realm, not. So that means all of the pure realms for sentient beings is not Buddha themselves, but they made for them. Just say we make adult people don't want children the toys, but we buy toys for children. Many things adult people don't need, you have to make it, you have to have for children. Or similarly, all the Buddhas, pure realms, to produce for sentient beings. Okay? Then we have to think about this. Okay, why we can reborn a pure land, Buddha pure land. To know this, we have to understand what is different than you become a Buddha and you reborn Buddha realm. We have to understand that differently. So you become a Buddha means you can create pure lands for other sentient beings. You to be able to make a pure land for other sentient beings. But if you are not Buddha, you're not even on the way to of the Buddha, then how come still I can experience Buddha realm? That sounds not right for logically. Then the answer is two. One is, yes, you're not really experiencing the real Buddha realm. I remember I said real Buddha realm is only Nirmanakaya level. You're not experiencing that. You're not reborn in Nirmanakaya realm. You're not reborn even Shambhala Realm. If we're talking about the ordinary people, you have the possibility to reborn the Shambhala area, the Nirmanakaya area. The Buddha manifest like Sugrawati, Amitabha Pyolat. Okay, why do this? Because these all the causes are not 100% Buddha's pure mind created. That means not 100% means you have to say roughly, we cannot make percentage, but to understanding, to sake of understanding, you have to think about like 98% or 99% is purely Buddha's mind created that. But also there is creation from Buddhas before become a Buddha. Amitabha before become Buddha's accumulations helping to create that pure light. So these are little tiny impurity does help a lot for ordinary people to make the connection. Why? Why? How come is 100% pure isn't better? In general, of course, 100% pure is like Nirmanakaya realm is of course the best. But for certain sentient being, ordinary sentient being, to make a connection, you need that similar of our sentient beings dirty merit. So therefore, one reason why is there's a possibility ordinary people can reborn Amitabha pure realm because of that reason. Usually people say, oh, because Buddha Amitabha, he fulfilled his promises. One of his promises, every sentient being make the causes and then for causes or for the pure land, and then not born there, he will not become a Buddha. So that's why he become a Buddha means indicating everybody born there. Very possible. Yes, that's true, but that only is one condition, one reason. We have a possibility to reborn Amitabha pure. But the other possibility is there must be a little impurity from creation of before he became a Buddha. And also because this is made for sentient beings, not for Buddha himself. That is advantage for ordinary people. So that's why it makes also possibility to reborn there. So that means why you have to think of that very hardly. Maybe you think that, right? Because you have to think very precisely, otherwise you contradict the in general Buddhism, the system of general Buddhist logic, Buddhist system, Buddha, the natural rule. Those things you cannot contradict. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So for instance, if somebody just simply created dirty karmas to reborn in Pure Land, Amitabha Pure Land, how come, if that easier, why everybody don't do that? Instead, 3 countless eons accumulation and giving, all your arms and organs, everything, give everybody. Dharma take eons accumulation. Why Buddha even taught that path if that's easier to reborn Pure Land and then eventually to become a Buddha? Yeah, if you have that question, I say, we're talking about minimum level. Minimum create 4 causes for the Amitabha Pure Land. Then you don't need too much intellect, understanding, scholar, or you don't need Mahasiddha, incredible high Tantra practice. You don't need these things. You only simply 4 causes, and then you reborn Pure Land. So how that possible? How not contradict these 3 eons of accumulation required for become a Buddha? That is, we're talking about firstly minimum level, because maximum level you can do anything to reborn Amitabha Pure Realm very easily. But the minimum level, the most incapability person we're talking about, even there, these 4 causes they have to make is more pure way. Pure means many ways you can think of, but without this too much intellect. More boiled down, something you create the 4 causes as much as you can, and you believe you doing your best, and then you have 0 doubt you will be there. You will reborn there. As long as you have the 0 doubt, then it's become a pure. Okay? So boil down everything, without all the details. The 4 causes, of course, one is the familiarity of the Buddha, Amitabha, and the Pure Land. Second is that bodhicitta, generating bodhicitta. Third is accumulation merit in any case, in any ways. Third is you dedicated the same way as like bodhicitta way, liberate all sentient beings. So that means you want to go Pure Land is not only for your sake, but you want to become a Buddha. Because why you want to become a Buddha? Because you want to liberate sentient beings. So that's your primary reason. And then you have no doubt, I will be born there. And then you born there. Definitely. No doubt. That is we need purity. That purity mind. That is who has a possibility of the purity? Those who not too intellected. Those who not too what do you call it? Not too much intellected and not too much sophisticated, not too much I forgot that words. Basically, not too much doubt for people. Easily to believe. That kind of people have much more chance than who is very intellectual, who is very scholar, who meant to knowing so many things. They have much less chance. Why? Because the key point is no doubt, pure mind. You know, this faith, pure mind. Okay? So that's the key point, not only Amitabha Pure Realm, any Buddha Pure Realm, any Bodhisattva Pure Realm. If you have this pure mind, pure faith, then you create that causes is not the quantity. And you will be able to born Amitabha Pure Land or not, or any other Pure Land or not, is not about the quantity of how much you created. Is the quality of your faith and your no doubt. That's why my Lama, Lobsang Tenli, he teach this way. And he told me like that way. So I believe 100% this. And Khentrul Rinpoche Shirab Johnson also he taught like that way. And also my Nyangma Lamas also taught that way. And the text also said this way. And logically, that makes sense. Okay. So now, okay, if Amitabha Pure Land is like this, then what about the other Pure Lands? All other Pure Lands. We don't have too much information. So we don't talk too much today. But the same rule, the always main cause is you have no doubt. And then whatever requirement they said, do this. That's the key points. But now, what about Bodhisattva's pure realms? It's not just Buddha pure realm, but if it's a Bodhisattva pure realm, what does it make differences? So I would say, logically, Bodhisattva pure realms is more possibility for minimum people, for lower capacity people who cannot create eons of accumulation, or who is not so much courage to eons in the samsara, that kind of courage, lack of courage, but pure faith. These people have more Bodhisattva realms, you have more chance. Why? Because remember, pure and impure for lower capacity is impure connection is even better, and it makes sense and related. So that's why, as we discussed in the past. So now we talk about Shambhala Pure Realm. So what is different than any other Buddha pure realm and any other Bodhisattva pure realm? This is the main subject. Why Shambhala pure realm is something exceptional? You have to understand this. Firstly, in general means for all sentient beings, think of all sentient beings, and for all Buddhas, that's in general sense, Shambhala is not exceptional. It is not a special. Okay? You have to be same as all Bodhisattva realm. So Shambhala is Bodhisattva realm. 12 category of Bodhisattva realm. So in general is nothing special. However, the special is for the individually. Individually, I'm talking about not one person, two person. I'm talking about the individual realm. For this earth, sentient beings on this earth is Shambhala, exceptional and special connection. How do you know this? Maybe you can think. First reason, Shambhala is related with this earth, an earthly realm. When we say earthly realm, you don't have to think as another village or town, but you can think simply one's opponent could be part of this and then become a more refined. Why? Because everything changes, the whole universe changes by the human's creation. So that's even today, 21st century, people rough idea, understanding, who knows how concept a little bit about quantum physics. So similarly, where anything can change it. So the Shambhala is something very close connection on this earth, physically and spiritually. Therefore, is very connected with the Buddha Shakyamuni in our human being and the Shambhala. And then Shambhala, what does make Shambhala become completely pure? Because of the Kalachakra Tantra. And then Kalachakra Tantra come back to this earth. So therefore, we can see very connected. Any other pure realms, we don't have that details and history. That's alone you can see. The second, not only that, but for future, we already had from the Buddha himself and Shambhala, Dharma King's commentary, we're going to be liberated by the Shambhala, Dharma King's sages, even they mention army, like Soror. So going to liberate this earth. So this shows a special connection. Don't have any other pure realms. No exist. So that shows. That's why exceptionally and individually we are very connected. This humanity on this earth, for these people, is Shambhala is exceptional. And then the other exception is Shambhala realm is a Tantrayana realm, not like the other realms. So therefore, this Tantrayana is the king of the Tantrayana, Kalachakra, something we already have some part. When I say some part, our Kalachakra, we have practices we have on this earth, compare the Shambhala, is very small. But still we have this real connection, regardless how small and how inferior compared to Shambhala. It still is same connection, same lineage, same transmission. So therefore, we have very special connection, connected with the Buddha himself prophesied. Remember, Buddha has no prophesied any other programs can transform the whole earth, whole humanity. Only Kalachakra, through the Shambhala. So therefore, we can see this special connection. So therefore, the most important, as long as we are born as a human and born as on this earth, we not lose this opportunity. We never disconnect this special connection. We have to take advantage on this special connection and opportunity. So how to do this? Maximum level you can do, you can practice Kalachakra Tantra properly, your dedicated whole life, number one priority, this. And you can enlighten Buddhahood by yourself before the death, or through the death, or bardo. But that's I'm talking about maximum level. But the minimum level, what we can do is similar of the Amitabha Pure Land minimum practice, but a little bit different. So this time, what the most important is you must receive Kalachakra empowerment. Number one condition. Why? Because then you are connected with Shambhala. So either you received or you not received, you have intention to receive. Number one priority. And then you received, what do you do? You have intention to remain the samayas. Oh, too much samayas. Oh, no, I don't even understand. But the most simple way to describe, as long as you have intention to liberate all sentient beings. So that means you try to practice a loving kindness, compassion, and tolerance, forgiveness. Based on that, you receive empowerment. Probably you never break the vows, but if you did, you fixed very quickly. So that means you have intention to keep the samaya. I'm not talking about you never break. I'm talking about you have intention, genuine intention to keep the samaya. You have genuine intention to have bodhicitta. I'm not talking about you have a real bodhicitta. I'm talking about you have intention and training yourself bodhicitta way and keep samaya. And you dedicate to reborn Shambhala Pure Land. That's it, done. So receive empowerment with intention to keep the samaya. You can say one. Second, any other practice you can do to dedicate Pure Land, Shambhala. But the main important, of course, something to do with Kalachakra practice. something to do with the Shambhala prayer or Kalachakra Mundro or anything related. This is better. So you can say only 2 conditions, or you can say 3, depend how you see. If you separate intention like Bodhisattva way, and then receive empowerment, and then keep the smile, and practice something to do with Kalachakra or Shambhala, and then dedicate on that. You can say like Maxi, you can small parts, you say there is 5 conditions. But if you can small way with Bodhicitta intention to receive empowerment, with intention to keep the samaya, you can say 1. And then you do something, practice not the quantity, but the quality. You practice something to do with the Kalachakra, practice something to do with Shambhala, pure realm, aspirations at least. Only 2 conditions, really. And you dedicate on that. But you dedicate on this anyway, and if you have intention, means you dedicate in anyway. There is no such thing. You have a pure intention but not dedicate. There's no such thing. That's why you don't have to count many. You can count 5, but also you can count 2, only 2. One is intention to have bodhicitta, keep samaya, that's intention. To receive empowerment, 2. That's it. The purpose of Shambhala, pure life, then 3. So now I say again, intention to based on bodhicitta training to intention to keep samaya, 1. Then receive empowerment, 2. Practice something related with Kalachakra or Shambhala, either the same thing. That's it, 3. That's 3 conditions. Then you reborn as Shambhala Pure Land. I'm talking about the minimum level. The most lower incapability people, I'm talking about, they can do this. I'm not talking about maximum. Maximum, of course, you can practice many things. You can understand many things. The depth of the gentle, the depth of the Kalachakra Tantra, many things you can understand. Many things you can realize, but I'm talking about the minimum level. These 3 is enough. Now, what's the difference is the Amitabha Pure Land, reborn easily, the minimum level of the incapability people, Amitabha Pure Land and Shambhala Pure Land. What's the difference is, then both need faith, no doubt, similar. But what's the difference is, the Amitabha Pure Land, you have the key important, no doubt. Okay, no doubt. So then they say, okay, if you have doubt, still you reborn, but you are not open the floor 500 years, something like that. That means there is possibility not born. But even born, that is very interpretable. That makes very doubtful. So that's why it's so important. Have no doubt is number 1 key for Amitabha Pure Land. But Shambhala is not the key, is the zero doubt. The key is the only intention and the connection, the empowerment. Why? Because it is Tantrayana practice, Tantrayana pure realm. That's why it's number 1 is you have to receive this connection. And then you, of course, you have no doubt the better But even you have a little doubt, it's very difficult to normal people have zero doubt. Even you have a little doubt, but if you have prioritize enough, that's only enough. The reason. If you prioritize Kalachakra path, Shambhala, Reborn, if your number one priority, doesn't matter how low or high, you reborn there. Why? Because this is logically makes sense. You don't, why even you have little doubt, still is reborn, because logic, there is room. The Amitabha Pure Land one, you don't have the logic room there. That's why you need to require really zero doubt. So nobody can judge anybody you have doubt or not. You know yourself. So that's why everybody can decide themselves. Do I have doubt? Which one is sense more easier and how to say related with me? In that way, people are easy can decide. I think nobody decide with anybody. People should do oneself. So that's why, and Shambhala Pure Land is more logical room, because Shambhala is a Bodhisattva realm, that means a sentient being realm. Okay? And Ligisapa means, they said, karmic realm. Karmic realm means you created this karma, even you have doubt. Of course, you reborn there because it's a karmic realm. Okay, or karmic realm means then some people have a very simple idea, oh, it's karmic realm means then not pure. But it is still pure. Why? Because this realm is made from the old bodhisattvas, not only Sujandra, but all the bodhisattvas, all the dharmakins, they made together. So that's why it is pure. But pure means, I said before, remember, even Amitabha Pure Land, we have a little impurity is better. That's why we have the connection. But Shambhala have a little bit more. Why? Is firstly is Bodhisattva Pure Realm. Secondly is karmic realm. That's why our karma, even our dirty karma, have room for there. They have connection. Therefore easy. Like million times easier. Okay, but then if it's easier, that means impure land, or that means can I make bad karma there? No, not possible. No chance. No bad karma, no chance. Even you have trillions of karma, no chance to ripen. Because every karma you need to ripen. But in Shambhala, there is no condition to rise negative karma. Only have chance to rise good karma. So that's why your old negative karma is going to be exhausted. Therefore, as long as you're born at Shambhala Pure Land, one lifetime Buddhahood. One lifetime Buddhahood means the most slow one. Why? Because as long as you're born there, and then you already, the minimum person, minimum incapacity person, accumulation part of Bodhisattva. So that means everybody born there, even the minimum level, is lower Bodhisattva. Some born is already high Bodhisattva there. Some are since born. Some of them is lower Bodhisattva. But there is no lower than Bodhisattva. So therefore, there is no chance to rise any negative karma wrapping. So that means negative karma, all your trillions negative karma is something we have trillions of seeds, no chance to ripen the fertility, like earth and water and wind, not, then they eventually die, the same thing. There is no condition. So like that. So therefore, individually, this earth, this humanity, had the Shambhala exceptional Pure Land. In general, the Buddha's Pure Realms better. Better means the quality. The quality, if we look at only quality, let's say if you have to buy a car, $1 million car, if you have only 100,000, for you it's better to buy the 100,000 one because this serves your purpose. But the $1 million one is better, but it's not better for you. So same thing. So the high capacity doesn't matter. High capacity practitioners doesn't matter which Pure Land you go. But if you are not 100% high, and then you have a little doubt, then it's this way, is like insurance. So the good thing is in Shambhala, there is no Sutrayana path, only appearances, but not real Sutrayana path. Everybody is Tantrana path. Tantra is not only the Lord Tantra, is the king of Tantra, Shambhala, the Kalachakra. So Kalachakra is full Kalachakra, 100%, not like on this earth. On this earth, we have so tiny group and so tiny teachings compare. So therefore, they have enough time. So that's why all Shambhala people is the last Bodhisattva to become a Buddha. Last time the life. That's all the even teachings, lamas, everywhere said it. That so makes sense logically. So okay, so I hope this makes sense and also this makes people understand what is the differences of the Pure Lands, because in general, not many people talk about this topic to making a different Pure Lands. What's the differences and what they cause the difference, what the result. So that's why I choose this topic today for the Kalachakra Day of Nakpa Dawa. Thank you so much. And I dedicate one verse and then we finish. Dhanba giva nambarar karintu talu orte pardane khambala ridana yaru ankordalerji tunkur danla java shebarako giva andi alora trami so trodan tarsa satan hashi jumbara nubi tala lateni janjo deja nyao nyurto ho